1,
2,
3,
4.
Monster movie.
Fun time, go! Monster movie.
Fun time, go. Monster.
Movie.
Fun time.
Go!
Monster movie. Fun time, go.
With Precious D and Honeybee.
Fun time, go!
Hello and welcome to Monster Movie Fun Time Go.
Monster movie, fun time, go!
I'm Precious D,
And I'm Honeybee.
and today we're going to talk about Son of Kong.
Son of Kong, 1933.
Yes, when did King Kong come out?
1933.
And Son of Kong?
1933.
They wasted no time on that cash grab.
Oh.
Kong was a big hit, and they did not want to let the iron cool strike while it's hot.
Oh, yes. Back at it with, the patriarchy and white supremacy
Yeah, and Schoedsack.
and Schoedsack.
Black and white, 69 minutes, directed by Ernest B. Schoedsack. Willis O'Brien again doing the effects. Written by Ruth Rose. Thought Cooper had a writing credit on there, but no, I think she just wrote it all herself. But Maren C. Cooper is the producer again. Robert Armstrong is back playing Denham.
Denim the douche nozzle.
We have Helen Mack this time.
Ooh,
playing
la la.
playing not Fay Wray. What do you think of Helen in contrast to Fay Wray?
I feel like Helen was playing maybe a younger character, or she was supposed to be. Was she supposed to be younger?
Oh, I don't know. I figured they're about the same age.
I'm not sure. I feel like she was more. I mean, I don't want to use like a terrible word, but she just seemed younger.
Okay.
She like in her acting, like she was, to me, she was like portraying a younger girl. There was a lot of things where like even him like calling her kid, and then I don't know, it
yeah,
just
the
seemed,
script is emphasizing that she's
yeah, I feel
young.
like the whole script was like everybody's a baby in this one. This is a baby version.
Well, before we get too much into that, the budget was $269,000 and the box office was $616,000. Not as much as Kong, but still respectable.
Uh-huh.
The featured monsters are Son of Kong, referred to in the script as Kiko,
Kiko.
but nobody calls him that in the movie.
But I do love that
And
so much.
various dinosaurs and sea monsters and Goofusauruses and
Maybe a bear at one
the
point?
bear,
Question mark.
some sort of dire bear, or some cave bear, and Son of Kong is 12 feet high.
Yes, 12 feet.
I don't know if we mentioned last time how big Kong was, but his size varies. In the original, Kong is anywhere from 12 feet to 50 feet.
Okay.
Some of the press, I think, claimed he was 50 feet, but he doesn't actually appear to be that large
Right.
in the film. But Baby Kong, much smaller. Oh, here I have Daddy Kong, 18 to 24 feet.
Daddy Kong.
Claiming to be 50, but only 18 to 24
Heard.
feet. And the death count in this movie is 11. That is
A lie.
counting various dinosaurs, natives, and Kiko himself, and Hilda's father.
I'm going to remember this because I have to bring it up later when something else happens. The kill count is 11, you said?
This is what I found online. I did not personally count myself.
Okay.
And of course, we don't know. There's probably a lot of off-screen deaths. We only see a small representation of the tribe.
Right.
There's probably more back around the corner that... but I want to say something about Helen Mack, though. She is interesting in that she's not in a lot of movies because she went on to become a producer and director
Oh.
first of radio programs. And then when TV took off, she moved over to TV and she continued to write plays and television, direct television,
Wow.
until she died.
Yeah. How very unladylike of her.
Yeah. I just thought it was interesting considering the time period that she moved into directing and producing.
Yep, she is a fox also, sidebar.
Okay. You liked her?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I did like her very thin eyebrows. Love. Love. She was gorgeous. And
Okay.
and there were her voice. There's something about her voice, and even before she was
Something
singing.
annoying?
No, it just seems like very is this the voice that we all base that like I feel like everyone does this voice. And this is the first time I've actually heard it. It's just like a something you put in your voice when you're like, you know what I mean?
She had, well, I think the voice you're thinking of is Betty Boop.
Okay, maybe.
And she definitely had a Betty Boop quality at times.
Okay, I see.
Not
yeah.
quite as exaggerated.
Right, yeah.
She had a little bit of a baby doll thing going
Yes, yes, she did.
on. The movie starts off, well, my first problem.
Please tell. Please
Victor
do tell.
Wong as Chinese cook.
Oh, yes.
The man has a name. It is Charlie, short for Charles. Charles Wong, perhaps? I don't think he's Charlie Chan. He's not a detective. He's not a Hawaiian detective of Chinese extraction. But he has a name, and it is Charlie, and he is billed in the credits as Chinese cook.
And he's also, if we're being honest with ourselves, the hero of
He
the
is
entire... Both movies, really.
Yes, throughout the movie, Charlie is the one on the ball who is paying attention while there's dumbassery going on around him. So, justice for Charlie.
Yeah.
But we begin
Shout out.
in New York. Scene 1. Denham is in a boarding house. Sherlock Holmes's housekeeper runs, Mrs. Hudson, runs this boarding house. And she has just run off the gas man who was an imposter trying to serve papers on Denham. Denham is finally facing some consequences.
Yes, finally. In just a few months later in 1933.
Yes. So this movie does do a little critique and deconstruction of the first one.
It did, yeah.
Later that same year, he is being sued. 11 lawsuits pending against him for the fiasco that was the Kong show.
The first thing I notice is there's a King Kong poster on the wall.
There is.
And it's like the poster, come and see the great monster. And so I was like, oh my gosh, no way. They're not even gonna. And then someone, the Miss, what is her name?
Mrs. Hudson.
Mrs. Hudson. She's like talking and they're talking and someone does say all the people Kong killed and injured. And I was like, okay. Yeah. All right.
So, in spite of the fact that this show has ruined his life, he has kept the poster from it and hung it up in the boarding house. Then the lady who's renting the front room turns out to be a reporter who's just rented the room so she can get to Denham. And she's the one that gives us the exposition about him getting sued
I see.
For all the victims and investors and anyone that possibly can is suing Denham for anything they can. And he says, sure, looking at the poster of Kong, he's lamenting what he did to him. And he says, I sure am paying for what I did to you. Except he doesn't.
Except he doesn't. And I also like this apology in the scene where he says, don't you suppose I'm sorry? Like, he never actually says, like, I'm sorry. He's just like, don't you think I'm sorry? Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, Denham is broke and about to be more broke, as people sue him. Charlie shows up to deliver a message from the skipper of the boat that they took to Kong Island. And then the ragman comes to the back door.
Is this Mickey?
Mickey.
Ew.
Mickey the ragman.
Ew.
Comes to the back door just pretending that he's buying and selling stuff, rags and things. Because that was a thing in the Depression. And Victorian England and things, I guess.
Yeah.
And it turns out he's actually a process server. He is a ragman, but he's also serving papers on Denham. His name is Mickey, and Denham makes what I think is meant to be a joke, that this is like the 11th one of these that just slipped me. Mickey. Slipped him a Mickey.
Wink, wink.
And then for some reason, once he's done his job... So Denham decides he needs to go see the skipper and he needs to get out the back door, and the ragman offers him a ride in his junk wagon.
And puts a bucket on his head, question mark?
Oh, did he? I looked away.
Yeah.
to sneak him out the back door.
Yes.
Put a bucket on
He
his head.
puts a bucket on his head. Mhm.
And while they're getting in the wagon, there's a fake blind guy selling ties.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know,
Obviously.
it's the depression. There's a million guys out there with tie racks around their neck, little basket of ties, and you gotta get that advantage by pretending to be blind to get people to buy your ties or ribbons or whatever they are.
Jeez Louise.
They get to the boat. I wrote down Charlie must think Kongs are plentiful.
Yeah, I wrote down Charlie's. The next thing I have is Charlie saying, "Next time you'll leave Big Monkey alone."
Yes, that's it. That's why I wrote that down. So when they're talking to the skipper, and the skipper's like, yeah, I'm about to get sued too, probably. I'm going to leave. But yeah, Charlie admonishes him, maybe next time you'll leave Big Monkey alone. And he says he must think Kongs are plentiful. Well, we're going to find out there's at least one more.
Right.
So foreshadowing, I guess.
Yes.
And then Mickey comes in to tip him off that the grand jury is going to indict him tomorrow. So Denham and the skipper refuse to take responsibility for their actions and skip town. They flee justice. Skipper wants Denham to come with him for some reason, because it's not clear to me later what role Denham is actually serving on the ship.
Yeah.
Maybe he's arranging for the cargoes. He's not doing work on the ship itself.
Right. I'm pretty much convinced that him and Skipper are in love.
Okay. They do have a tender moment before they decide to leave.
The step in. Step in, like, it was very intimate.
Somebody was leaning in for a kiss, and then it didn't happen. It just turned awkward. So, but they leave town to avoid financial responsibility, and we see the title, the words come up on the screen and telling us the various places they travel as we watch the ocean go by. And they end up in Dakang, which is in China.
Which I will say, I know it's still the same year, but I feel like a lot of people were like, wow, that was great. We want to see more of it. And there was like, as far as special effects go, there was a lot more. The camera will stay on this for just a little bit longer. Like this special effect. You know what I mean? So I feel like even though it was the same year, the special effects, there were just more of it than the first movie.
Okay.
So they were like, yeah, this is what the people want to see. This is what
you mean when they finally got to them?
Yeah.
43 minutes in?
Yeah. Yeah.
They probably had, learned a lot making the first one. So we're able to step it up a notch.
It was stepped up a notch, I will say.
So they get to Dakang. They're not having a whole lot of success with their import-export business that they're trying to start with this one boat. And they're looking for cargo in Dakang. And Denham asks the skipper, how far do you think it is to Kong's Island? And the skipper knows exactly how far it is. 753 miles to Kong's Island.
Exactly.
So they're both thinking about it for who knows why. And while they're wandering around Dakang, they see an ad for Peterson's famous international show. What did you think of the show?
Well, I liked the Tiny Monkey Band.
You did?
Yes. But that was another moment of just like, okay.
I was like,
we get it.
Yes, foreshadowing of Kong, but also more animals being exploited.
Yes, when they're little.
So in the middle of Dakang,
Pants.
there is a white man and his daughter putting on a monkey show. It's not a dog and pony show, it's a monkey show. Little monkeys playing instruments. One of them is dressed as a belly dancer. They're playing drums and a violin.
Yes.
And there might be a tambourine. And,
it's adorable.
and it is the saddest audience you've ever seen.
Yeah, they are bored.
There's a bunch of what appear to be locals who maybe have seen this show a million times because they're bored to death. There's Charlie and Skipper and Denham.
And Denham.
And they're very enthusiastic, but everybody else in the crowd, Denham and Charlie are enthusiastic.
Yeah, that was very.
Skipper doesn't give a shit.
That was adorable.
And then after the monkeys, we meet La Belle Helene,
Wow.
the daughter of the ringmaster.
Ow.
She's listed as Hilda in the credits, but nobody calls her Hilda at any point in the movie. Her stage name is La Belle Helene, and Denham calls her Kid.
Yes.
And nothing else.
And nothing
Just
else.
Kid.
At one point, I did think he said kitten. I was like, what? But it was kid.
It was Kid.
It was kid.
And she plays something called the Runaway Blues. on the guitar. And Denham is taken with her. She's got personality. She's got something. She's got personality.
He says she's got personality if someone would show her what to do with it.
I'll show you what to do.
Yeah.
Skipper's not convinced. He thinks her singing's terrible, and he's not wrong. She sings like Tiny Tim. She sounds a lot.
Oh my gosh.
Sounds a lot like Tiny Tim, I thought.
Oh, that's funny.
So the show ends, and they leave, and then the father and daughter have a moment where the daughter's concerned about this man.
Yes.
Is that man coming by again tonight?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, he's a white man. He's someone to talk to. Can't be bothered to make friends with any of the locals.
He's a white man.
He's going to talk to this questionable white... The daughter obviously thinks he's an unsavory character. Mm-hmm. But he's a white man, someone to talk to.
Yeah.
He would have been better off making friends with the locals.
Yeah.
As we shortly find out. They get drunk.
Mm-hmm.
The other guy is some kind of a captain. Apparently he's a bad captain who purposely lost his boat for the insurance money.
Yes.
And the father calls him out on this. They have a fight. A lamp gets knocked over. He hits the father.
Yeah, he hits him over the head.
Lamp gets knocked over. Fire starts. And the guy just runs away because he's a scumbag.
Destroys everything.
And Hilda wakes up.
With her high heels on.
Oh, I didn't notice she was sleeping in her heels.
I didn't until she was running around and like saving everybody. And I was like, are those heels that she's running in?
Because I noticed later on the island she had heels. Mm-hmm. And Denham's not wearing heels, but he's also not wearing let's go on an island shoes.
It's not wearing his island shoes.
He's wearing these snappy white dress shoes that don't seem good for climbing rocks.
Well, he's a white man.
Yeah. So she drags Dad out and lets the monkeys and the seals and the animals loose. Grabs some clothes real quick and drags a chest out, but it's too late. Dad's too badly hurt and he dies.
Yes.
Looks like maybe he whispers.
Yeah, you said that. He whispers something to her. I did not see the whisper, but then she later says like that he said something to her.
Yeah, or implies that he says, you don't know what he said
right
to me. So now she's an orphan.
Wah,
the
wah,
monkeys have all
wah.
escaped. Her guitar presumably burned up in the fire. She's kind of fucked.
Yeah, very fucked. Very Snow White vibes with her like hair and her like little voice and her trying to catch the monkeys. It was always like, oh.
So Denham comes across her in the jungle I guess she's trying to get her monkey to come down out of the tree.
Right.
Denham comes along and he's like, how'd you lose your monkey? You dumbass.
You'll never catch a monkey like that.
Yeah, we get some little jokey stuff about Denham knowing how to catch monkeys. Mm-hmm. You need gas bombs to catch a monkey. And she tells him, well, there was a fire, my father died. And he's like, oh, that's a tough break.
Well,
kid.
what a bummer.
Yeah.
No good.
That's a tough break. Life's tough. Well, see you around. We also find out that Dad was run out of the circus for being alcoholic.
Right. Yes.
And that's why have their own lame little monkey show.
Their own little monkey show.
And then later she runs into the bad captain and accuses him of murder. And says, you just wait till the magistrate's going to be here next week. He'll take care of it. When they're drunk, they're talking about the magistrate coming soon also. So I guess that's how things worked in China at the time.
I guess so.
Traveling magistrates come every few months and see what's what.
Yeah, you get to tell all of your complaints.
Yeah. So next we see Hellstrom, the bad captain. We find out his name is Hellstrom. That's not significant at all.
Yeah.
That his name's Hellstrom.
Hellstrom.
He runs into Denham in the bar, and we find out that this is the guy that he got the map to Kong's Island from. Yeah.
Did I miss something there? Or
no. Well, I mean, we knew in the first movie he says something about I got a map off of a sailor.
Oh, okay, but we never meet Hellstrom.
No, we didn't.
Okay, I thought I missed something. I was like, what?
No, we didn't meet him in the same skipper, same Charlie, but
right. Okay.
not Hellstrom's not in the first movie. But yeah, he's the sailor he got the map off of. And Hellstrom wants to ride out of there. He wants to get out of Dutch jurisdiction. And they're trying to turn him down. And then Hellstrom's like, oh, did you get the treasure
Right.
while you were on Kong's Island? They're like, treasure?
Question mark.
What
treasure?
So these two assholes immediately decide they
Let's
need
go
to,
back.
yeah, let's exploit what's left on the island. We took the giant ape and ruined that, and there's treasure there we can go steal. So let's go do that. And they agree to take Hellstrom along with them. Oh, and they speculate the treasure belongs or was
put there.
put there by the people that built the wall.
Who are the natives, right?
Well, we still don't know if the natives had built the wall at some time in the past or of some previous civilization, because they don't look like the kind of civilization that builds giant walls and things. They give us the impression that they've either inherited this from someone else or they've forgotten the things that their ancestors knew, and they can maintain the wall, but they can't. They didn't build it themselves.
Weird. Okay.
There just seems to be an implication of that there's a mystery of who built the wall.
I see.
But we don't really know.
I got it. Yeah, I was just like assuming like, wow, like whoever built the wall, like, okay, the natives, like, let's go steal their treasure.
Yeah, well, it definitely wasn't a bunch of Europeans that
Right.
built the wall.
Yeah.
It was either those natives or some earlier natives.
Right. Yes.
Uh,
And they're excited. They think that the natives are going to be happy to see them. What
Yes.
they were like, the natives will be glad to see us.
Yes.
They're going to throw a party.
Yeah, in Denham's mind, he got rid of Kong for them. He helped them out by getting rid of Kong. That's how he sees their interaction. But before they leave, he goes to see Hilda just to say goodbye.
Oh yeah, to give her money.
Yeah, he wants to give her some money and let her know that, hi, I'm a man you've met once who saw your show, but I need to tell you goodbye before I leave town. No, you can't come with me. Because she's pretty destitute. She has a little bit of money, but she doesn't appear to have any way of making any more.
Yeah.
Wants him to take her away, but he knows he's going to Kong's Island now and doesn't want to take her along. So he's like, here's some cash. Nice meeting you. Bye.
Bye.
And says it's a pretty tough life.
Oh, and he does another step. Maybe this is an acting thing for this guy. I don't know. But he did like the intimate like step in and then he's like, life is tough.
Yeah.
And then like step out.
Yeah, it looked like he wanted to kiss her, but didn't.
No such luck.
Never does.
Never does. Little face touch here and there.
So they're on the boat. They get on the boat. They're heading to Skull Island, and the skipper's concerned that Hellstrom is getting chummy with the crew.
Mm-hmm.
And we see Hellstrom planting seeds of fear and doubt in the crew's minds.
Yes.
And that now, if I were, he's telling them how he got the other crew killed, and says, if I were captain, I wouldn't put my crew in danger.
But you'll be fine. There's plenty of guns.
Yeah. So then there's some whispering going on, and everybody gathers together, and they start marching towards the skipper and Denham, and it looks like they're about to mutiny right now. And Denham makes a crack about, it looks like it's the Workers' Committee.
Yeah, what was that?
There's
We
some
must be in Russia.
Yeah,
That's what he
some
said.
communist stuff.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, some anti-communist stuff that it looks like the workers who are underneath us want to have a word with us.
Okay.
They must be a bunch of Russian commies.
I see.
But it turns out that at that moment anyway, all they want to do is say, hey, we found a stowaway. And who found the stowaway?
Charlie!
Charlie found it, because Charlie's the only one paying attention.
Shout out. Charlie, you're the real hero.
Yeah, Hilda,
we know it.
Hilda has stowed away on the boat, and Charlie found her. And so now she's there. She's upset to find that Hellstrom's there because he killed her father.
Yes.
He killed my father.
You killed my
Prepare
father.
to die. And he confronts her later and tries this, like, oh, don't cause any trouble. Denham won't be
Yes.
mad if you tell him that I'm a murderer.
A murderer.
don't
I
know
love
what-
this part too because he also calls her a crazy bat. Like, he says, "You crazy bat." I was
Maybe,
like, yes, I
but
love
that's
that.
an odd phrase. Maybe he wanted to say crazy bitch, but
Yeah.
they couldn't. I mean,
Maybe.
this is pre-code. They probably could have got away with it.
I don't know. He said, "You crazy bat."
But once they get in sight of Skull Island, then there is a mutiny.
Mm-hmm.
They come and knock on Denham's door, and he's all like, "Oh boy, the chief's gonna be glad to see us." No, he's not.
Mm-mm.
And then he sees that the crew's pointing guns at the skipper, and Hellstrom is leading a mutiny. They put him on a lifeboat.
Which I was surprised, because they're like, "Go over, like, get over," and I was like, "Oh man, they're gonna make him jump." But then there was a lifeboat,
Yes.
and I was like, oh, "Okay, all right."
So they load up the captain
Excuse me.
and the skipper. They load up the skipper and Denham and Hilda into a lifeboat.
And Charlie goes.
Charlie goes willingly because he's like, "I don't like those guys. They're..."
because he's the real
Yeah.
hero.
So he's not being thrown off, but he willingly goes because he's not a mutineer. And the crew will not give them any guns, but Charlie has had the foresight to plant a gun, two guns, in the rowboat.
How he snuck them on the rowboat, we are not sure.
Well, there's all this whispering about mutiny, so he knew it was coming.
Oh,
he
nice,
couldn't,
yeah.
He couldn't stop it, but he could prepare for it.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to listen to him. If he says don't do it, they're not going to listen to him. They're just going to kill him. So they put him on the boat, send him off to the island. They're all like, "We're not going. That's too dangerous. We're not going to go die for you. Screw you. Get out of here." And then Hellstrom thinks he's in charge now. And they have a little communist revolt because they're like,
We don't need a captain.
"Yeah, no more captains for us."
Yeah.
And they literally throw him off the boat.
Yeah, no lifeboat for him.
Yeah. So they go on to become pirates, egalitarian pirates, and they roam the seven seas. No, we don't know.
I was like, wow.
We don't know what happens to that crew. They disappear. But it did remind me, though, that like in the age of piracy, sometimes there wasn't a captain, or the captain was elected by the crew, but he wasn't the boss. They were more cooperative efforts.
Yeah.
Where everybody got an equal share. And the captain was really just more of the manager than the owner and lord over everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what these guys were going to do, go off and start their own little co-op.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not a pirate co-op, but a import-export co-op
Yeah.
where they all shared equally and they lived happily ever after. But they mercifully, Denham and the skipper, and they rescue Hellstrom.
Which really, like, I mean, good for them. You know, you don't want to just, like, leave him alone, flailing in the...
Yeah. I mean, Denham dunks him a couple of times.
Yeah.
And says, "Do we have to rescue him?" But it's
I was just
code
like,
of the sea.
no, don't do it! Don't rescue him!
I think they were operating under a basic code of the sea. If someone's
Yeah.
overboard, you gotta pull them up, no matter who they are.
Mm-hmm. It's just Denham trying to get into heaven at this point.
Yeah.
Really.
Yes, to make up for all the secondhand murders that
Yes.
he's responsible for.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to save this guy.
Yeah. So he gets rescued. They row to the shore, same shore from the first movie, and the chief is there. Well, Denham says, "Hey, it's the chief. They're going to throw us a party." And they throw a spear instead. They're going to throw us a party. Boom, a spear. I think, again, this is meant to be a bit of a joke that they're not going to throw a party. They're going to throw a spear.
I mean...
The whole movie is much more lighthearted.
Yeah, it was.
I think I read something about they knew they couldn't just reproduce the first one.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't top it, so they would try to go in a different direction. Be a
Okay.
little more fun.
Yeah, I felt that. Maybe that's why I felt like it seemed like younger. I feel like everyone was just a little bit... The girl, she
Goofier?
acted... Yeah.
Everything
Just
was a
like
little goofier.
little bit sillier.
Yeah, even Denham's a little bit sillier.
Yeah.
But the natives are not happy to find them there, so they get back in the boat and row around to another part of the island. Find a little inlet in the rocks where they're able to get on land, but it's not a real proper beach. They got to climb up some rocks to get anywhere. This is where I noticed the bad footwear.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to climb these rocks.
Yes, little Hildy in her character shoes.
So Denham and Hilda go on ahead, leaving the other three behind. and they come to a little ledge, and we finally see 43 minutes in
43 minutes in
of how long is the whole thing? 83 minutes? What did I say? 69. 69 minutes in. 43 minutes into a 69-minute movie.
we finally
We
see
finally see Son of Kong, aka Kiko.
Kiko.
Now, we talked the last time about racial coding in King Kong.
Yes.
And was he metaphorical? Did he represent something? So I just feel the need to point out that Kiko is white.
Yeah, he was.
He's an albino, or an ape with albinism.
Mm-hmm. Which it is a black and white movie, so you can definitely tell.
But he's not the monster Kong is. He's a much friendlier, more helpful ape, and his fur is white.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's done on purpose or something, but it's worth pointing out.
We see you, fuckface. We see you in there.
But poor Kiko is caught in quicksand. And Hilda...
Quicksand, quote unquote. It looks very...
Tar?
Yeah.
Muddy? Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, this was more like bog of eternal stench.
Yeah, I thought it was tar. I thought it was tar or mud or something, but Denim says it's quicksand. But so he asks Hilda if she's afraid, and she says, well, sort of, but she doesn't appear to be afraid. So the main difference, apart from one being blonde and the other being brunette, the main difference between Hilda and Fay Wray and Darrow is that Hilda is much less screamy than Anne.
Yeah.
Because she sees Kiko and does not instantly freak out. It probably helps that he's caught in quicksand.
Yeah.
And she's not tied up.
And he's apparently only 12 foot.
Yes, he's 12 feet high.
So...
But they push over a tree to help Kiko out of the quicksand.
Yes. And they did give him, like, he makes little, like, baby noises.
Yeah.
And he seemed to be... They did a lot, I feel like, to Baby Kong to make him seem...
Harmless.
Yes. Chill.
More approachable.
Yeah.
So, but Denim is clearly racked with guilt over having killed Kong. And so he wants to help out Kiko and helps him get out of the quicksand. And then throughout the rest of the movie, we see Kiko trying to pay back this favor. Denim speculates on it. Is he actually trying to help us? Does he know what he's doing? But it seems like he does.
How could he? He's just a dumb animal.
Yeah.
Like, good lord.
So the Kiko gets out of the quicksand and goes away, and then the others catch up, and Denim's like, "Don't tell Hellstrom." He tells the skipper, "There's a baby Kong here. But don't tell Hellstrom because he'll freak out." Because they've already realized Hellstrom is not stable.
Yeah.
He will get hysterical and flip out if he knows there's a giant ape on the island. Mm-hmm. And they find a blocked passageway, and they're looking around, and they somehow get separated, and Skipper, Charlie, and Hellstrom get chased by a Triceratops.
Yes. Which, shout out to Charlie again, who saves the day by punching the Triceratops in the face. Repeatedly.
Does he just punch him, or does he hit him with a stick or something?
The first time I was like, oh my gosh, is he? But I think he does have something in his hand.
Okay.
But just like the camera angle and of course like the graphics and stuff, it does look like he's just punching him.
Charlie, dinosaur puncher.
Yes. Hero to all men. Puncher of dinosaurs.
But they have to hold up in this little cave. The Triceratops can't quite fit in the cave, and they got to hold up in there all night. While Denim gets chased by the bear,
right?
The giant bear, and Kiko comes in and rescues them
because he hears Hilda scream.
Oh, she does scream.
She lets out the one like ah, and he like turns around like a lady. He's like, what? And then did you notice this moment shortly after where like he fights the bear and wins, and then he's like talking to them? Like he's like,
I made a note of that. He turns around and he looks like he's talking to them.
Like he's like trying to negotiate
he's
or
like,
something.
Hey,
I did the thing. Yeah.
Did you see me? It's almost like a wrestling match though, where the one guy's knocked out and the other guy goes to the side of the ring to work the
So,
crowd
yeah, uh-huh.
while the first guy recovers. Because that's what
Yes.
happens.
Yeah.
While he's working the crowd, the bear gets back up and attacks again.
Yeah.
At which point Kiko picks up a piece of a tree or something and beats the bear.
Mm-hmm.
But doesn't kill him. The bear runs off.
Just hurts his little baby finger.
Yeah. Yes, it's I guess he scratched his finger on the tree or something when he picked it up. And then we have this moment where Denim wants to put a Band-Aid on Kiko's finger, and this will make up for having gotten his father killed.
Yes, I love this line too. He says, Denim says, "This must be remorse or something."
Yeah.
Like he's feeling like, and he just can't quite
I don't
identify.
understand these feelings.
What am I feeling?
Yeah, his internal monologue becomes completely external at this point. And Hilda's got the magic movie first aid dress.
Yes.
In which you can-
you just tear it off.
Yep,
like
nice,
nothing.
A nice piece of bandage-sized fabric tears off easily. Because dresses are made that way. They're designed that way.
Of course.
Well, it's a slip, actually. But yes, movie slips are designed to be torn away and turned into bandages.
Always.
They're perforated. You go back and look at pictures of old slips from 1930s. There's bandage perforation. That's what it's for. Life hacks.
Life hacks. 1933.
So he bandages up Kiko's finger, and Kiko helps them get coconuts down from the tree.
Yes, and where Denim calls him a big dummy.
Yes.
Even though he's helping him, I literally wrote in my notes, like, I hate this man.
Yeah. They're trying to get down coconuts.
He's
They
horrible.
can't. Denim can't push the tree hard enough to knock down the coconuts, so Kiko's like, "I'll do it." Gives a good shake, and of course they get hit on the head with coconuts because it's a comedy now.
Yeah.
It's a much more lighthearted movie until it isn't.
Until it isn't. Wah, wah, wah.
But yeah, Denim's kind of a dick because he's a dick. And then the two of them make a little fire and wonder about what happened to the other guys. Should we shoot the gun off again to signal them? Nah,
Don't waste the bullets.
Yeah, if they haven't heard us by now, they're probably all dead or something. We'll find them in the morning. It's fine. Don't worry about it. But they have a little bit of romance time, I guess. I mean, not making out time, but just she's sleeping on his shoulder, and they're talking about, I don't know, life goals or some shit. And then there's this weird moment.
What?
When Kiko comes around the corner.
Oh my gosh, that was hysterical. He peeks around the corner, puts his gasp,
Yes.
puts his hand like, did I
didn't mean to-
interrupt
yeah.
something?
Oh, sorry.
Excuse me.
Should have put a sock on the door. I wouldn't have. Sorry.
And just slowly fades away into the darkness. Yeah, it was. Oh, this is a romantic moment. I don't want to interrupt anything.
So when morning comes, the Triceratops has gotten bored and wandered off. So the other three get out of where they were to find that their gun is destroyed. Denim decides it's morning. Let's fire off a shot to signal the others. And now it's time to break into the temple.
Now we are looking for treasure.
Yeah. Earlier they'd found a passageway that was obstructed. It looks like it's been bricked up. This whole time they've been sort of hanging out at these kind of ruins left over from that unknown civilization. And there's a passageway, an archway that's been blocked up, presumably on purpose.
Right.
And they're going to try and break in now. And Kiko sees what they're doing and says,
I'll help you.
He knocks down the wall. And treasure. There's a room with a big Dungeons and Dragons idol sitting inside there.
That looks like, and then the little necklace that he has with the diamonds that just looks like this guy holding two thumbs up.
Yeah. So there's some kind of amulet necklace thing hanging on the idol with a big fat diamond in it. And Hilda's like, Kiko, get it, Kong, ape guy, whatever she calls him.
Hey, you.
Can you get that for us? Kiko gets down the amulet, and while they're admiring it, starts playing with the gun.
Oh, gosh.
Puts it in his mouth.
Oh.
Ends up shooting himself in the end. Denim's all like, "Hey, you big dummy, put that down. Don't you know guns are dangerous?" Of course you don't. You're an ape. But
And he's like, me baby.
and he shoots himself in the hand with with the gun and then breaks it.
And then breaks it.
So they have no guns now. Oh, and that's when the Goofosaurus comes wandering in.
Oh, yes. Yes, I was like, baby Loch Ness monster? Question mark?
Some kind of dinosaur that I cannot identify
Yeah.
comes galumphing in, and so I'm just calling it Goofosaurus because it's a goofy looking thing.
It is, yes.
And of course, Kiko fights it, beats it to death. Then it's not quite dead, and so he beats it a little bit more. It's a little bit
And then
faked out.
it bites his butt.
Yes, it bites.
It's like dead, and then just reaches up and like...
It's weird because it looked really dead. He's like picking up his neck is really loose and it's flopping around, and he opens his mouth and looks like, yep, he's dead.
He's dead.
It's like, ha ha, I'm not dead. Ah!
Got your butt, got your butt.
And they kill the thing and they get out, and Hellstrom and Charlie and the skipper are outside. And Denham's trying to tell him about the treasure, and here we find out that Hellstrom lied about the treasure.
And
he's like, the treasure. He's like, there's no treasure. There's never any treasure. I just told you that so you'd take me with you. And it's just a coincidence that it turns out to actually be treasure.
classic.
And Hellstrom, when he finds out there's no guns, he flips out and runs right back to the boat. And they're like, well, we got to stop him.
He's gonna take the
He'll
boat.
take the boat. And he's like, Denham's like, you guys stop him. I'm going to go back for the rest of the treasure.
Which is just like describes his entire character in 1
Yeah.
minute right
And then,
there.
out of nowhere and yet not out of nowhere, there's an earthquake. Now, here's my theory.
Please tell me, because I was so confused.
Well, they've broken into a temple.
See, that's what I was thinking. Like, it
And
was
they've
very, like, Cave of Wonders.
They've taken they're calling it a treasure, but it's hanging around the neck of some kind of idol.
Mm-hmm.
So they've stolen a sacred artifact. I think they've angered the god of the island. Yes. I think the island god or gods is angry that his temple has been defiled.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could be a complete coincidence
Well, that's what
that
I was
this
thinking.
island that's been there for eons.
Which brings me to the kill count.
Okay.
How is there only 11
Well,
if the whole island sunk?
I think they're just counting what we actually see.
Okay, I see.
Because, yeah, there's an entire ecosystem.
Yeah, everything is
So
dead.
there's not only there's not only an earthquake, there's an earthquake that sinks the entire island.
The entire
This island is
Yeah.
Atlantis, is my theory.
Oh.
I mean, maybe it's the last remnant of Atlantis. There's some ancient civilization that now appears to be gone, and then the island sinks.
Sinks.
So maybe Skull Island was the last outpost of Atlantis, and now it's sinking to join the rest of Atlantis at the bottom of the ocean. Disclaimer, I do not believe in Atlantis. It's not. It was never a real thing. Plato made it up. Fight me.
Fight me in the street.
But thematically, we get an Atlantis moment. We get, well, and also what I like to call the fall of the House of Usher.
Okay.
In that it's the end of the story, so everything has to
go.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the fall of the House of Usher. You see in a lot of James Bond movies,
Everything must go.
everything collapses. The entire island sinks. The other three are in the boat.
Yes.
But Denham and Kiko are climbing up what's left. The island
island.
sinks very quickly. And I think we see the chief and a few tribal members fall off a cliff.
Mm-hmm.
We see some... Oh, I forgot to go back a minute, though. Before the earthquake, Hellstrom dies.
Oh, yeah.
Dies by comeuppance.
Yes, he gets eaten by what we can only assume is Daddy Loch Ness Monster,
Yes.
right?
Yes. He runs to the boat, but before he can take off in it, a sea monster just pops up and says, snack.
Yum. Delicioso.
So he gets instant comeuppance for no other reason than he's got it coming to him.
Yeah. Yeah, karma.
Then the whole island sinks. The last little peak, the top of Skull Mountain, I guess. And so this island's come to be known as Skull Island.
Mm-hmm.
But in these first two movies, I don't think anyone calls it that.
Yeah, someone did call it Skull Mountain.
Yeah.
And then Kong's Island.
They call it Kong's Island, and I think maybe in the first movie they call it Skull Mountain Island. I don't know.
Skull Mountain Island?
Yeah, I'm playing a Dungeons and Dragons adventure right now called Escape from Skullcano Island.
Oh, yeah, you were telling me that.
And it's King Kong and friends in Dungeons and Dragons.
Nice.
So anyway, the island sinks and Kiko's foot gets caught in a little crevice as the last peak goes down, and he picks up Denim and holds him above the water.
Also, in the lifeboat, it's so funny because Charlie, Skipper, and Hilda are in the lifeboat.
Yeah.
But the only person being thrown around by the storm is her.
She's the only one acting.
Yes. It's like the back of them and then her just like flailing around in the water.
She's doing her best Star Trek acting.
Yes.
And no one else is playing along.
Yes. Yes. Man, that part with Kong's foot.
There's a part earlier when they're on the deck of the ship and the back projection backdrop is tilted back and forth pretty drastically.
Oh my gosh.
They don't seem bothered at all.
At all. It was kind of making me dizzy. Like at one point I was like, whoa, here we go.
But the boat comes floating up right to Denim just as Kiko sinks beneath the waves, and they grab Denim and pull him into the boat. And then it looks like they spent a couple of days drifting at sea, because they seem pretty, in the next scene, they seem pretty out of it.
Yeah.
They've run out of water. They're about to die.
Yes.
Some jokey stuff about the necklace.
Yeah, Denim says, stick with me and you'll wear diamonds.
Well, you can't eat those diamonds. And then they spot a ship in the distance and they get rescued. And
we love you, Charlie.
So we cut to Denim and Hilda on the deck at night of this boat that's rescued them, and they've been given big fluffy bathrobes.
Okay, I was like, are they in robes or were they coats?
I think they were bathrobes.
Okay, I thought so too, but I didn't know if that was like appropriate.
I guess it's a cruise ship that they got picked up by. They got big fluffy bathrobes.
Yes. And a new pipe.
Yes, he's got a pipe. He's either somehow held on his pipe this whole time or been provided with a new one by the crew. And they have a little talk where Hilda's like, well, I guess when we get back, I'll be saying goodbye. And he's like, yeah. Wait, huh? What?
What do you mean? You're not my property yet?
Yeah. So there's some discussion about the treasure and splitting it 4 ways. And then Hilda does some really bad math.
Some really, really bad math.
She said, so he wants to split it 4 ways. Denim, Skipper, Charlie, and Hilda. And Hilda says, what if we just split it 3 ways? And he's like, what do you mean? 1/3 for the Skipper, 1 for Charlie, and 1 for you and me. Because let's be a couple now. Let's date now. Let's get married or whatever. And he's like, oh, shucks, yeah, sure. But if they each got their own share, then they would have half between the two of them. And they're going to be starting a life together. They need to buy a house or some shit.
It's true.
It's just bad math. She's trying to be all romantic and shit, but it's bad math.
Fart noise.
They're both a couple of dummies.
Fart.
Furthermore, none of them are getting any of that. That treasure is going to be seized by the courts. If they ever go back to New York, well, I mean, maybe they just won't go back to New York.
It's going to be seized by
They got to find some place with no extradition treaty, because if they go back to New York, that treasure is being seized by the courts to be distributed amongst all the claimants. It will be years before anybody sees any money off of that treasure.
Well, Denim can't go back to New York because aren't they on the run anyway?
Yeah. But he's acting like, oh, we're rich now. Everything's fine. And it's not fine. You still have responsibilities. You still have debts.
Yeah,
to pay.
Killed a bunch of people.
Yeah. So he's still planning to not fulfill his obligations and not make right all the wrong he did. He is just gonna get married or whatever, split the treasure with his other fugitives, and
you get your treasure, Charlie, and you run.
Yeah,
you get the fuck away from these people. They don't deserve you.
But then the movie ends with this sort of a side hug, I guess.
Yeah,
there's no kiss.
An awkward, like, we're gonna be together side hug.
Yeah, there's no kiss. It is the most tepid romance ever.
Lame.
And this is a pre-code film. There were not all these rules yet about what you could and could not do. So I don't know. I guess it's just lame.
Yeah.
For its own sake.
Yeah. Well, I thought, like, maybe that was another thing, too. I was thinking, like, maybe it's because she's so young. Like, there were so many points where I was like, is she a minor?
I don't think anyone cared back then.
Nice. Yeah, that's true.
don't think they did. And, it's even at that point, I think there was already a long tradition of older guy and younger girl.
Yes.
So I'm not sure Denham's as old as he seems to be. He comes off very old.
I don't like him.
Well, no, he's a trash person.
He is a garbage person from Garbage Island.
He's a colonizer, an exploiter, despoiler of natural resources.
Douchebag.
But yeah, I believe that the island sunk because of him. Because he incurred the wrath of the gods by stealing that idol's bling.
Yeah. It was very Cave of Wonders from Aladdin, when he picks up the lamp, or he picks up and then the whole cave falls down.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Is this one of those moments, or is it just storms are coming? Just out of nowhere.
Yeah. Well, none of them seem to be aware that the earthquakes happen because of what we've done. Mm-hmm. But I feel like that's what's happened. It's awfully coincidental.
I agree. I feel like you're right.
Yeah,
definitely.
So, what did you think though, in general?
I liked it better than the first one.
Okay.
I thought it was more fun. I liked that it was, but it was
still got that monkey killed.
Still got it. Still got it.
That ape died because of him. He would have been fine. The whole island would have been fine if he had not come back.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
Which, if he would have just listened to Charlie,
that's right,
they wouldn't have even been there.
Yeah, maybe next time you leave that monkey alone. But no. Yeah, I did enjoy it. I felt more emotionally connected to Kiko than I did to Daddy Kong. Like he had more expression and more he played to your heart more. They definitely I think they used a lot of the same model. The under structure of the model was the same, but obviously they made a new skin for it, and I think the face, they put a lot more expressiveness into the face.
Definitely.
Including some goofy expressions.
Yes. When he got hit in the head.
Yeah. Some stuff that Rankin and Bass will steal decades later.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep, I did like it better. It's just as ridiculous, I'd say, as the first one, but I did enjoy it. I feel like in the first one, they wanted you to focus more on the love story or the people, whereas this one, I feel like we could focus more on the actual Kong himself. It wasn't so much love out of nowhere. It was just goofy.
Yeah.
Baha! Hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it too, in spite of crapping all over it for the past hour. It's still fun.
It is fun.
But Denham's terrible.
He's awful.
Charlie's the best. The skipper is lukewarm. Mm-hmm. Nobody cares about the skipper.
Yeah.
So next time we will be watching Mighty Joe Young.
Ooh, that's right. Which is what year?
1949.
Oh, dang. Okay.
And I looked at some lists of kaiju movies, giant monster movies. There doesn't seem to be anything between 1933 and 1949.
Wow.
And it's the same group of people: Mary Cooper, Ruth Rose,
Are you serious?
Wills O'Brien, and our man Robert Armstrong is in it, playing not Denham.
Thank goodness. I hope he's not a douchebag in the next one.
He's a little bit.
He's typecasted.
He's a little bit.
He's a little typecasted.
A little bit of a douchebag. Not quite as bad, but still fairly bad.
Damn it.
So thanks for joining us, and we won't see you. You will hear us next time on Monster Movie Fun Time Go. You've been listening to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and review us on your podcasting platform of choice. Our theme song is by the Texacato Folk Rock Punk featuring Lita Lopez. You can support the show, find links to our social media, and even leave us a voice message at anchor.fm/MMFTG.